welcome back, adventurers, to Let's Play Robotics Notes Elite. In the last episode, Kaito Yashio did something that, under normal circumstances, he would never ever do, which is throw a kill ballot match to Akiho's Nomiya. He did this so not as to break his reputation when doing favors upon losing matches of kill ballot, but also there is still a lot that needs to be resolved, and that can only happen in Tokyo. However, losing a single kill ballot match to Akiho of all people isn't exactly going to get Gunbuild 2 repaired, nor get it shipped in time for the Tokyo Expo. But, surprisingly enough, both Doc Fujita and Michi of all people decided to show up. And instead of carrying out Vice Principal Usui's orders to the letter, they have decided to take matters into their own hands. In short, we are going to Tokyo. In fact, we're already on our way there. I wake up to some weight on my shoulder, and the aurora glistens with its eerie blood wine glow. I glance to my side and find Akiho wrapped up in a blanket and leaning up against me, softly breathing as she sleeps. Given the fact that it's Michi who is very much most likely taking us there, since he is or was the club advisor, and because he's taking up amends, I'm guessing that we are driving in the Thunder Emperor. That truck of Michi's, but given his newfound maturity, I'm guessing that Michi isn't going to be breaking the speed limit anytime soon, because that we do not need, because it's a long way to Tokyo. My back hurts so bad, I feel like I'm gonna die. That's probably because I've been sitting for 20 hours straight. In or on the truck? We took a ferry from Nishinomote Harbor to Kagoshima Harbor. Oh, that's right. Tanegashima is an island. Yeah, can't exactly drive from Tanegashima to Tokyo. Whoops. From there, we've been driving for what feels like forever down the highway. I've been doing nothing but sitting the entire time. It's pretty much torture. Yeah, the inability to actually get up and stretch your legs and your back and walk around. Unfortunately, that is currently a luxury we cannot currently afford if we want to make it in time. Luckily, I managed to get a nap in, so I'm not too worried about having an attack like when we went to Tokyo last year. Indeed we are, Michi. Yeah. Or should I say, indeed he is, Michi. In the driver's seat, Michi grips the wheel with a sleepy look on his face. That being said, driving while fatigued isn't necessarily a safe option either. You should probably, get some sleep in, Michi. He's been driving without anyone to trade places with. Just the sort of thing you'd expect from a prideful PE teacher. Miss Michi hasn't changed all that much, unfortunately. Actually quite impressive, that bridge. I raise my head and see a large bridge right in front of me. It's not quite dawn yet. Tokyo isn't nearly as well lit as it was last year, on account of a certain disaster. Back when we visited for Robo 1, the streetlights kept the area lit up from night to early morning. Stores running late into the night had shining billboards. And I want to say there were more cars on the streets too. Of course, that was 6 months ago.
去年の太陽嵐あったろ。
How could we forget?
あれ以来節電のためによ。レインボーブリッジはライトアップ用の照明を5割ぐらい減らしてんだよ。これ豆知識だ。
Yeah, you're mixing up your facts with your pro tips again, Michi.
へえ。
Rainbow Bridge was far brighter last year. The radiance of its bright shimmering lights hit me with some major culture shock. Now the lights are more modest, and because of that its unique white appearance isn't quite as impressive. It's only been 4 months since the solar storm. 2 months after, Robo 1. They said on the news that complete recovery was still a long ways off. Still, compared to Tanegashima, Tokyo was insanely bright.
Aki-chan, 起きて。もうすぐ着くよ。
I shake her shoulder lightly.
おはよ
Or it could be night.
う。腰が痛い。
なんちゃくだなお前ら。
Michi switches on the turn signal. The truck carrying both us and Model 2 moves into the Odaiba interchange exit lane. And away we go to our destination.
Odaiba yo! 私は帰ってきた!
Yes, indeed. 6 months later, we're back yet again, and Akiho is wearing some nice casual attire there for a change. But I spot with my little eye some Twippo notifications, so we have to deal with those. Reporting an update for the spread of Kimijima reports. As of February 17th, 2020, 67% have spread worldwide. Total completion 11%. Germany passed 80%. Thailand confirmed start of spread. America 34% complete, showing a high percentage. Overall, however, that's yeah, that 11% completion rate though has me more than a little concerned. A message from Frau. Regarding the rental car, they said there was a memo left behind stating GS Frau, oh FR, sorry, true story. Someone figure out what it means, please. Couldn't tell you. Made it. The land of the final battle. Tokyo, I have come back. Akiho has indeed right to be in high spirits. Tokyo is a lot calmer than I thought. It's only been a few months since the solar storm. A lot more cheerful. But at least this time we don't actually have to compete in open combat with other robots this time. Things will be a bit different. Oh, another notification from Sumio. Did you land yet? I'll be waiting at the venue. Yeah, never one to miss an investment. Yeah, same old Sumio. Tokyo's changed compared to last year. Feels like it's more restless. I don't like this atmosphere. I can't entirely fault you there. And an update from Kurokane. Blog update, follow-up news. Minami Kagori mysteriously disappeared in Tanegashima. We received information from a person that worked at a car rental in 2015. Sounds like Minami Kagori was seen there after disappearing from Tokyo. Now it's clear why Frau Kajiro was there. Is it now, Kurokane? Because if memory serves, you were eager to follow up on the misinformation the Committee of 300 spread to try and tarnish both Frau and her mother Minami's reputation and good names. So don't go patting yourself on the back. Witness states that Kagori looked like she was scared of something. It was about 3 months after the mysterious death of the 13 gun barrel staffers. Witness was worried that Kagori was acting weird and might attempt suicide. A couple days later, a police officer brought a picture of Kagori A couple days later, a police officer who brought a picture of Kagori came to talk to them. Looks like they came from Tokyo to look for a missing person. But I have a question. Why would you take your time to come to Tanegashima to look for a person lost in Tokyo? Why not just report it to the police? The police officer from Tokyo is kind of suspicious. And, yeah, once again, I don't entirely take your so-called objectivity as being sincere, Kurokane. Since then, the whereabouts of Minami Kagori has been a mystery. The rental that she borrowed was discovered parked outside of a place called Appleland. Unknown if any leads were left in the car. One more thing. There was a curious post on a thread in @channel about the same time as when Minami Kagori got to Tanegashima, December 2015. Reporting. I saw 4 armed people at the Nagahama coast. Maybe it's the US Army practicing? I saw a runner boat, so I think they came by that. My intuition told me that they are suspicious. The disappearance of Minami Kagori I think is related to the US Army drill. I'm confident the armed men were Caucasian and not Asian. A 4-man, Kurokane says he only saw 4 people, but there might be more. 4 people on the Nagahama coast. That is suspicious. Anyway, moving on. I think I'll continue to follow the Minami Kagori case. Maybe we're getting close to the truth in this conspiracy theory. Kurokane should apologize to Frau Kajiro. That he should. Wasn't there a source that Frau Kajiro isn't a terrorist? Yeah, you and your typos. Kurokane, your skin is too thick. If the info on the article is the truth, it matches the message from Minami Kagori. Someone was getting chased. Rogue can be another made-up story by Kurokane to match the story and to bash Minami Kagori's family. Why did Minami Kagori go to Tanegashima? That island doesn't have much. That's because, she was fleeing for her very life. answer. Sources at channel. Is Kurokane playing with us? Yeah, his credibility seems a little bit suspect itself. Speaking of Tanigashima, what happened to the rumors about the cold sleep experiment? They seem to have disappeared in the deluge of social media minutiae. But we'll need to look into Irie's status at some point, if at all possible. Probably fake news. Once again, the fact that they're discounting it as such means that the committee aren't going to be breathing heavily down our necks, but that being said, it would be nice if people actually did take it seriously. And I digress. Cold sleep, lol. It's an urban legend that just so happens to be realized by the late Ko Kimijima. Feels like Tanigashima is getting a whole lot of attention recently, e.g. the rocket launch. They've had more and more opportunities to make the news. You would think that they actually would get a lot more coverage. Maybe something suspicious is going on there as well. Just a coincidence. And something from Sports Tokyo. Discovered all over the world. What are the Kimijima reports? The fact that that a sports news channel is reporting on this phenomenon that also doesn't fill me with confidence either. I read a copy of the reports but stopped halfway because I got scared. I see them everywhere. Is it like a campaign for IOUO or something? If so, it's a bad taste. I wonder if anyone cleared all of it. I'm trying the flag for report number 6. The flags for report number 4 are too hard. Not if you use your brain and find some loopholes. I read all 7 reports. Number 7 had no text though. I think that everyone should read this, at least until number 6. Then you'll understand what the danger the world is facing. Yeah, very well said. We can't keep acting like this after reading the reports. So I'm taking action, telling people about the reports and passing out flyers. Planning to do a march at the start of next month. I wonder if I wanted to participate. Well, looks like somebody is taking this seriously after all. And then again, maybe not. It's fake news. People taking it seriously are crazy. Not as crazy as the people running the Committee of 300. Who spread it? Ko Kimijima? Yeah, probably not the best time to tell the world that he has in fact been murdered. Although then again, if anyone has actually bothered to read the reports in their entirety, they would know that this is a given. So whoever opened report number 7 spread it. But when it got sent overseas, it got translated to English, French, Portuguese, and even in Arabic. Who did the translations? That's a very good question. Sensei excited for translations. Looking at the information it provided, it correctly states what is going on. I can't believe it was written 10 years ago. It sounds like a prophecy. I would have laughed it away 10 years ago, but reading it now gives me the chills. Ominous foreshadowing, this is. There's nothing to prove that it was written 10 years ago. That's it. The dates when the files were created. Another solar storm is coming. That's it. Yes, there is supposed to be a second one coming in 2020. And we need to be ready. Does the Committee of 300 really exist? They sound like the real culprit, but can't find anything about them. At last, somebody has started inquiring about the committee. Now Irie can well, the Sister Centipede can start going to work. Yeah, because once that name starts circling the internet cycles, there's no way that they won't take notice. Those keywords are going to pop up like red flags. It was like a month ago, right? It spread out this month and much in a month. I believe the info on the reports, so there will be another solar storm coming, for sure. Gotta prepare for it, indeed. I want the government to do something, if only they could. If a magnetospheric substorm hit, it's going to be worse than last year's major blackout, right? Someone do something. That's what Koki Mijima was trying to do. If this many people read this, I'm pretty sure someone will deal with it. Then again, the committee's counteractions might be a slight problem. What we can do is spread the reports more and let people know, indeed. And now for list D. And nothing, not a peep from the trio. No, nothing. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. Turning to Odaiba. It's early in the morning here in Odaiba, and Akiho is already screaming her lungs out. She seems to have regained that energy of hers. She's hit peak energy levels, like her drowsiness from earlier was just an act. A lot happened in the last month. I get how she feels. Sabaru's accident, Mizuka-san's death, the destruction of the Robotics Club. Despite all of that, she dove headfirst back into repairing Model 2, all so that she could see her dream through to the end. And we're right there with her. The VP was enraged every time she ran into Akiho. But there's nothing you can do about it now, Usui. Yeah, there was a flaw in your strategy, and we found it. The other students at school would talk crap about her behind her back, which has pretty much been a right every time. Akiho knew this would happen. She knew she was being selfish. She said so herself, but saw things through anyway. You're far from the only selfish person on this planet, Akiho. Bear that in mind. And she just barely made it in time for the Expo, thanks to our assistance. But if this is her level of energy after getting to Tokyo, she's not going to last very long. Yeah, Akiho is still susceptible to attacks. Akiho's cry from the soul draws the looks of people nearby. It's still early, but there are already lots of businessmen and office workers heading to work on foot. They all give Akiho irritated looks before hastily walking away. They seem to be on edge. Also, it is of course Monday, so that might have something to do with it. Mondays. Is it because today's a weekday and a Monday of all things? Probably. Definitely. I guess from the perspective of all these workers, some country bumpkin yelling at the top of her lungs in the middle of the morning would be pretty annoying. If I were in their position, I'd be annoyed too. Be glad that you aren't, Kaito.
見て見て、この辺もう全部万博仕様だよ。
Akiho doesn't seem to notice the irritation in the air around her. With a light step, she heads toward the Expo arena. Just over there yonder.
去年来た時はロボワン一色だったのにね。
Not quite. She's right. Expo ads and posters color the entire city, except this time we get to sleep in an actual hotel. However, even though the Expo is supposed to be an even bigger event than Robo 1, it doesn't carry nearly the same dazzling festival-esque atmosphere as Robo 1's. The train station is closed down on top of that.
メンテナンス中のため、2月21日まで全線の運転を休止しますだって。
That's only 4 days. That's not too bad.
移動で見るとそう書いてあるよ。
Ah, it's an AR annotation. Interesting. They even go out of their way to recommend taking the subway or the bus as an alternative. Good public service. A small abnormality among a sea of normalcy. That's more than enough to remind us that the scars from the solar storm a few months ago still remain. And according to the Kimijima reports, one of even greater size is set to arrive this year. Just imagining it gives me the chills. Well, yeah. When it comes to pass, Kaito, it won't just be in our imaginations anymore. As we near the Expo arena, there are fewer and fewer people. It is still morning though. We've still got a little under a week left until the show starts, which means we can do some very important sightseeing.
スカイの方も完成してる。
The Expo arena is divided into 2 arenas, Sky and Aqua. Last year, Robo 1 was held in Aqua. Sky was still under construction at the time.
でもスカイは万博には使わないって話じゃなかった？
ああ、そっか。
Back at the start of the year, the governor declared that the Sky Arena would not be used during the Expo in order to conserve electricity, which is, it is what it is. Originally, both Sky and Aqua were going to be used to display giant robots from all over the world, but that can never happen, at least this time. But it's been unexpectedly difficult to get enough giant robots to fill the arenas, so both venues weren't needed. That's a shame. Aqua alone is pretty large after all. While the world might be in the middle of a robot boom, considering the times, there are a lot fewer companies and people that can afford to build giant robots. And it's not like they're all building robots specifically for the Expo like we are. Too true. But it's still kind of ironic that an Expo arena isn't being used for the Expo. Said, the interior is quite flashy, not to mention the several displays of robots around that look pretty nifty, if I do say so myself. The moment she sets foot into the arena, Akiho lets out a strange noise.
Kai, すごい！
Kaito might not think so quite as much, Akiho, but I'm inclined to agree with you.
大きなロボがたく
And of course, they're all of a chicer design than Gunbuild 2. Yeah, because they're designed more for aesthetic than practicality. Giant robots around 10 meters tall stand inside the arena. There's over 10 robots on display, and if you include those still under assembly and those yet to arrive, that number will get bigger. Gathered in this arena are giant robots that are currently in development all across the world as of 2020. I'm sure it'll be quite the spectacle when the full lineup is here. I'm sure it will be too, Kaito. It's pretty amazing to think that the Robotics Club's robot will be included among them. I'm finally starting to realize how far we've come. We still got a way to go. Yeah, this is what Akiho's been looking forward to this whole time.
アキちゃん、よだれ出てるよ。
感動しちゃって。どれもクオリティ高すぎるよ。プロの仕事ってすごいよ。かっこよかったり、可愛かったり、みんな個性的で。
Yeah, and it certainly gives a creative flair to the whole thing.
まるでロボットアニメの中に入ってきたみたい。
You might very well have.
当たり前のようにたくさんの大きなロボットがそこにいて、当たり前のように動くんだよ。それがフィクションじゃなくなったんだから。
If only Misaki were around to see this as well.
ちょっと涙出てきちゃった。これだけロボがいれば前期で力を合わせて地球防衛軍だって結成できるね。
Don't think we need to go that far, Akiho.
戦う相手なんていないでしょ。宇宙人が攻めてくるとでも。
Then again, there is still the matter of the Committee of 300 to deal with, so a defense force against them might not be such a bad thing after all. But I digress. Besides, they aren't built for combat, they're just here for show and exhibition.
それ以前に宇宙人どころか現実に存在してる戦車とか戦闘機にも普通に負けるだろうね。
Kaito raises an excellent point.
それはどうかな。
But Akiho will not be deterred.
性能の違いが戦力の決定的差ではないということを教えてやる。
性能差っていうより相性の悪さだよ。二足歩行の人型ロボは戦車や戦闘機相手だと相性が悪すぎる。
Not these ones. Tanks have long-range cannons. Fighter jets can hit and run. There's no way to deal with either. I doubt that there's any opponent at all that humanoid robots have a clear advantage over. Anyway, there's no point in giving this any actual thought. The giant robots that appear in mecha anime are always loaded with super tech from another dimension or whatever. They don't take damage when they get hit by enemy attacks. It's got nothing to do with toughness, it's just fantasy. It's still early in the morning, but the venue was already packed with a decent number of people. I see a lot of foreigners too. There must be servicing staff that came along with their prospect of giant robots. Well, these robots won't maintain themselves. Enthusiasm in the air is pretty high, and deservedly so. Every person here is one of the top robot engineers in the world. Makes me wonder if Doc Fujidera is going to make an appearance, I wonder. Is it really okay for total amateurs like us to walk among such amazing people? Even you're praising them now, Kaito. Akio tugs on my shirt sleeve and points at a certain robot. Also noticing that the words Liverpool Tech are on one of the billboards behind Akio and up there as well. And CS Robocom, or US Robocom. There were two of the companies that were listed in one of the Kimijima reports, along with the Exoskeleton Company as well, to be investigated for connections to the committee. That kind of puts a dampener on things. It's a large, black, multi-legged robot that looks like a spider. Huh. It's an absolute shame that Subaru isn't here right now, because, yeah. Even he would be impressed by this design. Yeah. I don't know about you, but to me this thing kind of looks like it might be able to transform like the Transformers do, or Beast Wars or something like that. That's just the impression I get from it. But yeah, even the normally stoic Subaru would probably almost certainly be giving this thing credit where credit is due. Considering how most of the other robots are bipedal, its frame is rather unusual. I think we found our dark horse in the running.
Exoskeleton 社のロボだよ。
Oh goody! Yeah. So they made this. Which can only mean one thing. Misaki will be close by.
そうなの？
コンセプトモデル、名前はスメラギって言うんだって。
SUMERAGI, huh? The hatch on its torso is open, and what seems to be its cockpit is exposed. Yeah. This thing actually has a pilot, as opposed to Gunbuild 2, and yeah, not talking about Gunbuild 1. Is it really okay to openly display a company secret like this? The cockpit is just large enough to fit one person. Judging by its design, it's the kind of controlled system where you stand inside of it. There's an apparatus to secure the waist, and it seems to have master slave gloves installed for the arms. Do you stick your hands in them to operate it? It's got 6 legs, so how does that work?
元々のハグとは随分違うね。これが介護補助にどう役立つんだろう。
I don't think medical support was its designated function here, Kaito.
それともついに方針転換することにしたのかな
Changing directions indeed.
だからただのコンセプトモデルだってば。
Yeah, a concept model.
今回の万博のためだけに開発した試作機みたいな意味なの。こんなのも作れますよみたいなアピールだよ。
HUGs were originally developed for medical support, but due to their versatility, they're used elsewhere. They've been adopted as equipment used in sports and by the police. They're even supplied to a few military units. That's why I'm thinking that the spider robot may have been developed for military use. Which, once again, Kaito Yoshio is in perfect tandem with the Kimijima report. You should remember this. The Kimijima reports named the Exoskeleton Company as a manufacturer tied to the Committee of 300 as well. Yes, they did. I can't help but be suspicious of the thing. So am I, Kaito. So am I.
でも確かにこの子強そう。
Yeah. And now that I think about it, I can actually make out the insignia up there. HUGX. Yeah. Compared to the other robots on display here, I'm thinking that this, SUMERAGI might actually be able to stand up to fighter jets and tanks. Yet in complete contrast, the high school girl next to me has an intense sparkle in her eyes.
お姉ちゃんはさすがにいないか。
Something in my intuition tells me that that might yet change, Akiho. The Exoskeleton Company booth isn't just the spider. They'll be showing off the latest HUG model as well. Lots of Exoskeleton staff members are hard at work there. There's no sign of Mizune among them. Yet, her role is that of the test pilot in addition to being the PR face of the company. And where might her boss Sawada be?
Oi!
And here comes our sponsor, along with Michi. When we reach our boot spot, Michi and Mr. Candy, the Nagafukada family combo, are waiting for us. The space assigned to us for our booth hasn't been prepped at all yet, so it's just kind of sad to look at, and the crowd seats are clearly empty, of course. As far as I'm aware, Mr. Candy was set to arrive in Tokyo yesterday by plane. I thought he would have completely withdrawn his sponsorship after Spar's accident, but upon learning that Akiho had given up, he offered his help once again. Once again, Impact working in our favor. Considering how much money he'd already invested, he didn't have much more money to offer, which is understandable. Though if anything, we're grateful that he offered manpower over cash. Model 2 was split between two large trucks for transport. The drivers were Michi and a Space Candy employee, so we weren't driving in the Thunder Emperor. Good to know. In fact, the Thunder Emperor was actually probably too small to carry one half of Gunbuild 2. On top of that, he hired several workers to assemble Model 2 here at the venue. Thus, the Space Candy logo is still proudly stuck to Model 2's body.
待っとったぞ、アキオちゃん、カイト君。長旅ご苦労ご苦労。
Long journey is putting it mildly, yes. He used his big hands to clap me and Akio on the back.
いよいよ我が社のスペースアメが東京の地でそのインパクトを轟かせる日が来たんじゃな。
Here's hoping.
いいか、よいら生き魂を見せたれ。
Exactly what kind of spirit is that?
よーしお前ら、トラックは2台とも搬入口につけてあるから今日中に運び込むぞ。
I have to get things shifted. Alright.
よーしやるぞよいらーいき
And Akio is still pumped. In order to transport Model 2, we basically had to completely take it apart. Now we have 5 days to reassemble it. Then it's game time, although we have some fierce competition with SUMERAGI. Fierce competition indeed.
ここが当面の間のお前らの宿だ。
Well, Michi, I hate to say it, but you've really outdone yourself this time. This hotel looks snazzy as all hell. But that is going to be it for this episode of Let's Play Robotics Notes Elite, and when we return, well, sightseeing around the hotel, I guess. As always, until next we meet.